Hey, I'm talking to you. Woman, who art thou? I can't even begin to count the ways, but I found you to be a phenomenal creature, totally God-made, because you rendered them speechless with your glory and your beauty, and you've caused the world to pause as you handle your duty. There's nothing you can't do because you've done it all. You're like a player on life's court that keeps hogging the ball, and you're the epitome of perseverance, even in the midst of a pandemic, because your praise continually confused the enemy, got him looking like a discombobulated schizophrenic. And if you don't know who you are, honey, I'm about to tell you, because you're a whole lot of things, but what you're not is a failure. You're the painting life created and the promise that life is given. You're the paragraph and the sentence and the period that declares its ending. Your power, your peace, your pearls in the sand. You're the knees that bow and you are the praying hands. Our Father in heaven, please hear our cry. Some people fighting to live and some living to die. Hallowed be thy name, thine kingdom come. God, I pray every day that your will be done. And if I am as strong as the queens that are beside or next to me, I better step up my game, honey, because you're the real queen bee. You're a beautiful boss baby, better, brilliant, and brave. You're breathtaking, bold, bountiful, beaming, and bodacious. You're balanced, beloved, benevolent, blessed, blooming, and boisterous, thebomb.com and nothing less. Because ladies, we come in all kinds of tall and all kinds of short, all kinds of thin, and some got that baby got back walk, but you can't back talk a queen with a plan, because one thing's for sure, we in high demand, cause you a bad, bad missus, and you ain't gotta wear no skin tight britches, reaching down and pulling your sister out of those trenches and ditches, elevating yourself and her to go from rags to riches. And we ain't no Erykah Badu bag, ladies, carrying any excess baggage. We can be a beast in business, and I think they call that a savage. And coming from the stock we come from, doing nothing would be downright tragic. And we're a strong tribe, just like the tribe of Judah, out of which came the greatest of royalty, the Messiah, hallelujah. Because you just laid back and mellow and just a downright smoothie, because you've been double dipped with the anointing and baptized in beauty. And that rib was not taken from that man's side for you to be a side piece. You ain't no two-piece snack, you a whole Thanksgiving feast. Because you got that itchy yaya and that marmalade. You're the melanin and cherry on top of that glass of red Kool-Aid. And remember, world, be careful how you handle us. We're not as fragile as you think, because God has already spoken over us, and trust, he does not lip sync. So let me encourage you, as I always do, to go out and anticipate, demonstrate, eradicate, renovate, help illuminate, resuscitate, but never ever suffocate. Once you're obligated to negotiate, help exonerate, and then incorporate something. And last but not least, you need to let God out. He tired of being in your little old box, because he is the master key that unlocks the locks, that unlocks the locks, that unlocks the locks, that unlocks your locks. And in doing so, woman, we don't have to hear any cries of what about me. God bless you.
Wow, Kathy, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. And I'm hoping that you also enjoyed it too. That was a magnificent, fantastic, awesome spoken word just now. Don't you agree? All right. So, Kathy, let's ask a few questions. I want to find out some more stuff about you. You've been doing spoken word for many, many years. How many years has it been anyway? And how did God reveal this to you?
It's been about 22 years, and I remember back then going to an event that my cousin was speaking at, and he's in politics, and a message that he gave that was entitled, "I'm Not Who They Say I Am."
Okay.
And while I was at that event, things started coming to me, and I couldn't figure out where they were. I'm like, what is going on? What is this? What is this? And it just kind of stuck with me that day. And when I went home, I began to write some things down.
Okay. So. Yeah, 22 years ago. That's a long time. So I'm sure you got a repertoire or lots of material.
I do.
Yeah, that you can use anytime and pull out anytime you want to.
True.
So I've always admired you and this gift that you have. Do you recall your first time and that? Okay, you just told me your first time. Well, what was it like is what I really want to know. How did it feel? How did you feel? You know?
My first time getting up speaking was horrifying.
Okay.
because I was afraid, even though God gave me what I needed, I had never done public speaking before.
Okay.
And as I said, my first piece was I'm not who they say that I am. And getting up and speaking for a crowd and speaking before people, and you've never done that before.
Yeah.
But thank God I had the wherewithal to focus on him and to know that he gave me that gift and he wouldn't leave me hanging in that gift.
That's right.
So
that's good. That's good, Kathy. So I remember, we were talking just a few days ago, and, we were talking about the speeches that we gave at church as little children, Christmas and Father's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, all those speeches. And you were telling me that you would always say, give me the longest speech to the person that handed them out.
Always. I would always ask for the longest speech. And they used to call me odd because my favorite subject in school was English, even as an elementary child.
That's
because
good.
I loved the poetry in there. And one of my favorite poets was Robert Frost, and I could remember, whose woods these are. I think I know, and his house is in the village. I was so drawn to stuff like that, even as a small child. But and I guess looking at it back then was something that God had imparted in me even back then.
That's good. That's really good. So I want to go another angle now. I've known you as the poetic princess, but now God has changed your name to the preaching poet. Tell us how that happened.
Oh God. One night I was meditating. I have praise and worship sometime in my bedroom, just sitting on my bed, just quiet, and I was in there meditating and praising God. And God spoke to me and said, change your name to the preaching poet. And I said, huh? And I sat there for a minute, like, I must be, And finally he said it again, change your name to the preaching poet. And I said, no, Lord, no. I immediately said no, because when we hear the word preaching, we immediately associate that with the pulpit.
That's right.
And I didn't want any part of the pulpit because I know I've seen the attacks and the sufferings of the pulpit at the hand of people and the church and even the world. And I didn't want any part of that. So I cried. I really, really, really cried. And after about 2 days of crying and wallowing in what I thought was pity, God finally spoke to me and he said, not every ministry is in the pulpit.
That's
just continue to go.
Yeah.
And I felt so much better. I felt relieved knowing that he wasn't sending me to the pulpit. He was just sending me out where I was going and to change that name. And I even did some investigating, thinking, why would I have to change this name? And I went and looked online and found out there were hundreds of poets out there that actually go under the name Poetic Princess.
Really?
So God wanted to separate me, set me aside, differentiate, just set me aside for his purpose. And I actually appreciated that.
Well, the preaching poet is a unique name.
It is.
And it's not a name it's not like a random name or a name that somebody would just think of. But when you hear the preaching poet, you're like, so she's a poet that preaches? Or is she going to be preaching, or is she going to be preaching while she's doing poetry? And that's what you do. You preach while you're doing the spoken word.
Right.
Because just now what you just did with woman was like an opportunity for us to hear who we are.
Right.
It encouraged us as women,
That's right. And
hopefully
even
it encouraged
me.
you. Yeah. That was really awesome.
To God be all the glory.
Amen. So this is the thing that gets me, that you're able to recall all these words. I mean, you went back and forth with these different words, interchanging and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world do you remember these words? Now, for me, when I'm singing, if I'm going to sing 5 songs, say I'm at someplace, a church or somewhere doing a concert, and if I'm going to sing 5 songs, I know the next song is coming up by the music.
Right.
So the band or the keyboardist will play, and I'll know, okay, that's nothing but praise. Oh no, that's this is your season. Or no, this is so amazing. So when I hear the music start playing, I know which song it is, so I know where I'm gonna start. But for you, I'm just wondering how. I'm amazed that you can remember those words like that. And I mean, they're just in sync the whole time. So how do you do that?
First and foremost, like I said, before I do anything,
Excuse me.
I pray. I pray first and foremost. And when I write a piece, when I'm preparing to memorize it, I separate it off in blocks and paragraphs. Okay. But what I always do is associate the last word in that first paragraph with the first word that's in the next paragraph.
Okay.
And it keeps me connected. Yeah. And it's almost like I can see where I'm going next. Okay, I got to this word. So the beginning of the next paragraph is going to be with this word, and that keeps me in line with what I need to remember.
Yeah.
And it's like I can visualize it, like I can see it.
Okay.
And so it's with that, and even having the tools to be able to write the things, because I use an app called Rhyme Zone.
Okay.
That also has a dictionary attached to it. Okay. And it's an awesome tool to use when I'm writing.
When you're writing. That's good. You know, a lot of people that write, even people that write songs, use something like that so that they can get the next word that they need to rhyme or whatever. True. So that's very, very good. Now, I was going to say that when you're talking about, you look at your sheet, you know how your sheet is, you block off sections, right, and you know how your sheet is written. And then what you do is, as you are saying your spoken word, you can see, you can visualize it.
I can.
That reminds me of when I was in school years ago. But when I was in school and I had to take a test, I would remember where this was on my sheet that I used to learn from. And so I do get that. I do understand that. That makes a lot of sense to me.
And I was the same way in school.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Same thing. Wow. That's good. So I have another question for you. And I'm just going to read from here. It says, is there anything in particular that has kept or continues to keep you encouraged in this spoken word ministry?
Wow. Yes. God's continued to keep me encouraged by continually pouring into me, first and foremost. And God has given me words over the years telling me that I haven't forgotten about you. You know, and at one time I was getting weary and well doing, and God even spoke to me and told me, you have a trust issue. You have a trust issue. So I had to get focused. But don't you know, this year, it was so strong for me, I had to write down the date on January 29th, which was on a Saturday this year. I was in the middle of walking. And it's something about when you're walking, how God can pour into you.
Oh, yeah.
Because at that time, I'm walking and focusing on my breathing. But God spoke to me and said, I filled your tongue with eloquence and not arrogance.
Oh, wow. That's
and that
good.
thing, I sat there and I was like, what? But I love him because he'll always repeat it to me.
Yeah.
And he said, I filled your tongue with eloquence and not arrogance. And I said, oh my God. And I stopped walking and I had to write that down. But when I got done walking, I said, I've heard the word eloquence many, many times, but I had to write that thing down and I had to look it up in the dictionary. Well, the definition, when I looked up the word eloquence, there was only one definition.
What was that?
And it said powerful and effective language.
Wow.
And I said,
that's good.
My God. And I sat there and I had tears in my eyes and I said, Lord, so you're saying that you filled my tongue with powerful and effective language and not arrogance.
That's right.
And that blessed me that God would tell me, not only give me a gift, but tell me and school me on that gift and tell me about it. And when I tell you, there was such a fire lit up under me.
Yeah.
Such a fire lit up under me where I was feeling weary and well doing. I wanted to write. I wanted to get in it. I wanted to just, and so for the past couple of months, I've been, going hard writing, preparing for upcoming things, and just knowing that God gave me not only what I need to do the gift, but even teaches me how to operate in it. And that blesses me because it's just as important to know how to operate in that thing as it is to know the words that he gives you. So
that is good. So this is scripture that I wanted to bring out. And I want to say it's in Proverbs. It says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. And I've seen you, watched you. We've done some things together years ago. And I just see how God has opened many, many doors for you. And it's like doors that you didn't push down. You didn't knock them down, but those are doors that came to you. And he opened them for you, and you freely walked in those doors and were able to minister. So I know that you have something coming up real soon, so I want the audience to know where that's going to be and what it is. And can you just tell us about it?
I can. We're actually in Lancaster, South Carolina. There is going to be a Juneteenth celebration being hosted on June the 18th, that Saturday. Okay. It's going to start at 2 in the afternoon. It's going to last a long time. It's going to start at 2 and it won't end until 10 that night.
Okay.
And they're going to have other poets, I myself included, vendors. They're going to have choirs. They're going to have bands.
Okay.
And speakers, and it's going to be a really, really huge celebration. So I'm going to be a part of that. So I thank God. I give Him glory for being able to get out there and I thank God that people know me enough in this town. I've made a name in the town enough to where people will call on me and they trust me to come and deliver.
Yeah.
And they pass my name on.
They know that when you come, you're gonna bring something to that event that people won't forget.
True.
And that's what happens every time you speak, Kathy. You bring something to the event, to the church that people will never forget.
Praise God.
And so that is just awesome. So what is the address? Do you know the address of the place in Lancaster?
It's actually downtown Lancaster, which is Main Street.
Yeah, okay.
It's just Main Street in Lancaster.
Okay.
And the venue will be set up pretty much down the whole Main Street because they're going to have a lot going on.
That's
you
good.
You cannot possibly
miss it. So if you come down from Charlotte, if you take 521, which is also called Lancaster Highway, and just drive it straight down, you'll run right into the town of Lancaster.
Right. And you're actually, when you come into the town of Lancaster, if you just keep going straight through all the lights, just continue straight on, you're going to run straight into Main Street.
It. Yeah. Well, that's
so you can't miss it.
That's good. That's really good. Well, I'm happy about that. I think that is really, really great.
I am too, because I think it's a much needed celebration. And what I like about writing is I get the opportunity to study and learn things. So I've actually learned things about that celebration, things about where we came from and what went on during that time. So I'm not only speaking, but I'm learning at the same time.
That's good. Really good. I tell you, you have honed into your craft, girl. That's it. This is your craft.
To God be
this is it
glory.
That God has given you. So tell us how we can get in contact with you. Let's say someone wants you to come to their church. They have a special event. Even let's say youth church, the youth have something, or anything.
Right.
How can they contact you? And can you look and just tell them how they can contact you, please?
My email address, you can contact me by email, and that email address is still under Poetic Princess KW03@gmail.com. And I'm available, as she said, all kind of events. I do writings for birthdays, weddings, funerals, women's conferences, just any event that you're celebrating. If you tell me what you're celebrating and we'll go over maybe a subject, then I take time to study and ask God to give me a word based on whatever the occasion is.
And you know what? He does that too. He gives her a word. So you will want to contact her, as soon as you can, as soon as you know you're going to have your event, go ahead and hit her up, because Kathy gets busy really quickly.
I do.
Okay. So, all right. Well, Kathy, thank you so much. Is there anything else that we need to? Oh, I know what I want you to do. I want you to tell our friends and family that are watching, how they give them some advice on how they can do this, or, kind of encourage them a little.
How they can walk into this gift?
The spoken word.
The spoken word. First of all, like I said, first of all, prayer, like I said, prayer that's my life mode. That's my life mode. But anytime you're contemplating speaking anywhere, you pray and ask God not only to give you what to say, but how to say it. And what not to say, because it's just important when you're going out speaking publicly. It's just as important to know what you shouldn't be saying.
That's true.
And study and meditate on the word, and study and meditate on what He's given you, but also learn to utilize other tools like reading and doing your homework on whatever the subject is. If you need to go online and Google some stuff, or use things like I said, the apps like Rhyme Zone or your dictionary or whatever tools you need. And you can even be encouraged by going online, looking at other people that have done what you're doing, that have walked where you've walked.
That's good.
And because we don't always know everything, and we can learn from others. So
that's good. That's really good, Kathy. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome.
You know, I just wondered if there's anything else you want the audience to know before we go. We're going to get ready to wrap it up. Is there anything else you want them to know?
No, I think you've pretty much pulled everything out of me.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Everything out of me.
Okay. Well, in that case, and what we're going to do is go ahead and close it out for the day. And I want to tell you, family and friends, thank you so much for watching Morning Boost. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and also hit that little bell, because you will get a notification every time we're on. We're looking to see you every Monday. But anyway, when we come on, you'll know that we're on, okay? Thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Kathy, for being with me today.
Thank you so much
I really
for
appreciate
inviting
you.
me.
Thank you so much. And I want to tell you, folks, keep shining. Keep shining. Don't forget to like on Facebook and also like and subscribe on YouTube. We are so glad you are here. Thank you for watching.